Faith. Faith is a deep trust or a strong belief in something or someone, often without absolute proof or evidence. Now, faith for some people may refer to a system of religious beliefs in loyalty to God, but it also can describe confidence one places in another person or some type of cause. Tonight, we're going to delve into this concept of, or this topic of, faith and co-parenting. If you don't know me, I am Dr. Jerry Johnson. I'm the creator of Common Sense Co-Parenting. Welcome, good night, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to another episode of Common Sense Co-Parenting. My mission is to empower parents to navigate the complexities of co-parenting with clarity, compassion, and collaboration. This ensures a nurturing environment that centers on the well-being of the child above all else. So, if you have not been to my channel before, I encourage you to go back and listen to some of the episodes where we talk about the Common Sense Co-Parenting framework and the 5 C's that I go through. We've talked about communication, we've talked about collaboration, we've talked about conversation, we've talked about cadence, and we have also talked about consistency. In the last few episodes, I've had guests on that have helped me to discuss different topics about co-parenting. But tonight, I wanted to make sure that I came on by myself because this is going to be my view of faith and co-parenting. And the reason why I stress my view is because this is my experience with co-parenting and my faith. And my faith does lie in some religious beliefs that I have. I am a Christian and I do practice Christian faith. But for some people, you don't have any type of religious beliefs. You don't believe in God or what have you. And that's okay because faith still exists. Just like in the definition, your faith still exists in someone or it exists in something, even if that someone is just yourself. So we're going to talk about tonight some strategies. I'm going to go back to the strategies and the actions that we had, like with the 5 C's, right? I talked about strategies being the framework that you set for the things that you want to do in your co-parenting relationship. And next week, I'm going to talk about actions that you can take aligned to achieve those strategies that we discussed today. And I have 3 strategies for you regarding the topic of faith and co-parenting. Because even once again, if you do not have a religious beliefs or framework, you still have faith in something, in yourself, in the cause of co-parenting or the why of co-parenting. Why are you co-parenting? So you may have faith in the other person that they're going to do right by your co-parenting relationship. Okay. You may have faith in your friends or family that's supporting you through this type of thing. So regardless, there's a level of faith that you have. Most of mine is, I'm probably going to speak from, some things that I have experienced as far as like my belief in God and the things that I tried during my co-parenting relationship and still try and still do because the co-parenting doesn't stop. Even when you have an adult child like myself, the co-parenting does not stop. So let's hop into some strategies that you can use. And we're going to do 3 of them. So the first one is, and we've talked about this before, you need to lead with some core values that you have. And in my faith, there's a lot of different core values like love, like forgiveness, integrity, some things that are very important to me. Lead with those values instead of just rules, because like parenting rules, things that you want somebody to do, or, that you don't want them to do, like do or not do type of things. Let's lead with the foundation of love. Let's lead with the foundation of forgiveness. Let's lead with the foundation of we are going to show some integrity towards each other rather than having rules for yourself and your co-parent. Because anchoring though your decisions in the shared values that you have, no matter if you like that person or not, you still know that you value the same things. In those times where you have disagreement, you have discord, I'm telling you right now, having the mindset of, I know deep down inside, no matter what decision they made or what they said or what they did, that this is a good person, okay? And our values are aligned in that we both want our child to have a good education or educational experience. We both want our child to be fed, to be clothed, to be, to be a happy child, to not have, all the craziness going on around them, because this world is crazy enough. So anchor yourself in the values that you both share and talk about those things. Now, you would think that by the time you have a child by somebody, you would have talked about those things. You would think. But many times that is not what happens. Things happen, situationships happen, uh, people call it accident. I don't believe, really that there's any accidents, but things happen that we gloss over these types of conversations when we are dating somebody or in a relationship with somebody or even married to somebody. But if you have not had these conversations, you need to roll it back, rewind, circle back, circle the block to this conversation of what do we value that is the same for our child. Like what do you value? What do you want them to have? How do you want to raise them? How do you want to discipline them? Circle back to this conversation because within the values, at least you can anchor your decisions that you make, and they can anchor their decisions that they make in the shared values that you have, not what it is as parents we can and we can't do. Okay. The biggest thing that I have seen is people talk about visitation and, well, they can't pick them up on this day because that's my day and this, and that. No. If you have shared value that your child is going to see each parent an equal amount of time, those types of things should not throw you off. Those types of things should not be a full blown argument. Because if you are concerned and you have that shared value of each parent gets an equal amount of time, then switching days, unless it's something that absolutely cannot be compromised on, should not be an issue. Switching holidays, switching birthdays, all of that type of stuff should not be an issue if you have a shared value, just for an example, that your child is going to see each parent in an equal amount of time. Now, if it's a consistent thing where the other co-parent continuously tries to change schedules and things like that, then yes, that's a conversation. Once again, circling back to value. What do we value here? Do we value consistency for our child? That's a great question because we want the time that they spend with each parent to be consistent. So the schedule is not everywhere. It needs to be predictable for your child because that's what creates safety for them. Do we have a value of creating emotional, mental, physical safety for our child? That goes into loving somebody, right? So you need to make sure that you anchor your decisions in whatever it is you have to do for your child or children in the shared values that you have. So lead with core values and not just parenting rules, what we can and can't do. That's your number one strategy. And I'm going to come next week with some actions to go along with that. But let's go into number two. So, number two is respecting the differences in beliefs and practices. And this is where a lot of disagreement comes in when you have two people that have different faith or a different type of faith. Okay. So, just say it's a Christian and a Muslim, a Jewish person and a Muslim, a Buddhist person and a Jewish person. I mean, an atheist and a Buddhist. What do? You need to be able to respect the differences in the beliefs and the practices that your co-parent has. Now, it comes to a situation, I will say every time, of if it is a situation about the safety of your child, that's another discussion. Okay? But if it is a situation of they practice their faith in one way and you practice your faith in another, and let's just say you want to take the child or the children to church, like a Baptist church or Pentecostal church or something like that, because Christian is the gamut. So if you want to take your child to a non-denominational Christian church and they want to take your child to a mosque, their time with them is their time with them. If they want to introduce to them their beliefs and their practices and their faith, they have the right to do that. Okay. Now, once again, this should have been a conversation that we had before we have children. But don't work like that. Most of the time, don't work that way. But you need to discuss, go back to the values that we just talked about. Core values. What do we want our child's faith life to look like? Are we introducing them to different faiths? Are we making them do certain things, within those faiths? Like when I'm doing Ramadan, I'm making sure that they're sitting next to me while I'm praying, or I'm doing my prayers and things like that. I'm asking them to do that with me. These are discussions that you need to have, and you need to be aware of what it is they're experiencing as far as their faith, the co-parent's faith, when they're with them, so that you can have the discussion with your child about, are you uncomfortable doing this, or is it comfortable for you? What do you think about, dad's faith versus mine? Like, what do you think about church versus mosque? Which one do you feel more comfortable in? And all this types of, these are conversations that you can have with your child to make sure that they understand that there is no discord, there's no disagreement, there's no animosity with your co-parent because your co-parent has another faith. Even though you can have two Christians in this world right now. So many people are calling themselves Christians, and their interpretation of what a Christian is totally different. Two ends of the spectrum. We see it right now working real time. If you're looking at anything going on in this world, you will see that. So having respect for the differences in beliefs and practices is huge. I'm going to go back to if it infringes upon the safety, physical safety, mental safety, emotional safety of your child, that's a problem. And that is a conversation with your co-parent, because that is a serious conversation with your co-parent. Because if to my knowledge, there's no faith that you should be hurting other people or other people should be hurting you. There's been acceptance, love, forgiveness, integrity. All of those things have, from what I know, been promoted within every faith. So all of this, hurting other people and things like that, and people being above people and better than other people and all this type of stuff because of skin color and, just the way we look. The interpretations are different, no matter what faith it is. So respecting those differences amongst others and leaving folks alone is what we should be doing. So this is important because of your child's sense of stability. And that's what we need to think about. Nobody is comfortable when things are unstable. There's no way to be. Think about a floor or a foundation in the house. When it's unstable, that's not comfortable for anybody. Okay? And you're not going to want to get comfortable with that because eventually it's going to fall through. So even if your interpretations of a faith is different, you can respect those differences in beliefs and practices. But when it comes to the safety, I'm going to say again, the safety piece is huge because that's non-negotiable. We should not be infringing upon anybody's safety, physical, emotional, mental, or otherwise. And your child needs the stability of seeing his or her parents able to work through those and respect those differences in beliefs and practices. Okay? I'm going to say again, safety within this is non-negotiable. That is not something you need to negotiate or compromise. Because the minute you start to negotiate that type of thing, you lose. Everybody loses. Safety is not negotiable. All right. So respect the differences in the beliefs and practices. Even if you share the same faith, your interpretations may be different. When you don't, your interpretations definitely are going to be different. But it is important for your child's sense of stability that you show a united front. And we've talked about this before, in the fact that it is okay for you to have the beliefs and practices that you have, and I have the beliefs and practices that I have. Let me reiterate again. Physical, mental, emotional safety is non-negotiable within that. The beliefs and practices that your co-parent has, if it is infringing upon any of those for your child, that means spreading hate and then negativity and all of that, that is not within the faith. Any faith that I know of. All right? And we should not have faith in that. So that's number 2, respecting the differences in beliefs and practices with some caveats and exceptions. Number 3, you're going to use your faith as a tool for peaceful communication. Peaceful is different for everybody. And that, once again, peaceful can be interpreted different ways because some people's chaos Is their norm, so that's their peace. And when you bring them peace, that's uncomfortable for them. Hopefully you get that. Let me say it again. Some people have lived in chaos and craziness so long that that is their norm and their peace. So when you actually bring peaceful communication to them, it is very uncomfortable for them to deal with. But what you're going to do is you're going to use your faith and whatever you believe in as a tool to have peaceful communication. Whether it makes someone else uncomfortable or not, you need to stay peaceful. So instead of letting disagreements spiral, what I want you to do as the catalyst for this type of communication based on your faith is I want you to go like lean into like prayer, meditation is good, scripture. I promise y'all, I have scripture like posted around different places in my apartment because, and I carry it in my purse every day. And when I travel for work, especially when I travel for work. So scripture is a way for me, and it should be for you to center yourself. You flip through, I got post-it notes everywhere. Flip through them little post-it notes or flip through your little notebook that you have, or if you have notes on your phone, scriptures that you can read, recite, read again when you need to have a conversation with your co-parent. There is a certain calming effect to it when you recite it as well out loud. Because, you know, people say, like, demons listen to, like, you may have angels, but the demons listening to everything because they can't get into your mind. So recite that scripture, have it posted in different places in your home if need be. Keep it in your purse, in your pocket, in your wallet, in your phone, in your notes. Make them all cutesy and everything if you need to. But as far as using your faith as a tool for peaceful communication, you need to employ some things instead of letting disagreements spiral. That means the disagreement starts and then it just keeps going and going and going. No, it will never stop unless one of you chooses for it to stop. And I'm going to say this because people think if you just let something go, that, oh, you know, they'll forget about it or it won't come back around. No, it will come back around. And it will come back around worse the next time because you have not solved whatever the issue is. Ignoring issues does not, that don't do nothing. That doesn't solve anything. All it does is it makes you feel better because you're scared to have the freaking conversation. And that's what it is. We're scared. It's fear to have a tough conversation with somebody that we are connected to for life by this child or these children. You telling me you can't have a conversation with the person that you had kids by? That's a problem. But that's a problem that can be solved. Somebody needs to put on a big girl or big boy panties and underwear, draws, if you want to call it, and have the conversation. Have the conversation. We have to learn how to have tough conversations. What's going to happen when your child grows up and there's a tough situation that needs to be talked about? You have not practiced having those skills and building those muscles of having tough conversations with people, with your co-parent, So now you can't have a conversation with your child when they're going through something. This life has tough things going on in it. Every day, all day. We see it. Come on, y'all. Come on. We have to build up the muscles to be able to have peaceful communication and a conversation with our co-parent and our children that may be uncomfortable for everybody. And you can start the conversation off like that if you want to. Hey, I know this conversation is uncomfortable for everybody. It's uncomfortable for me. That's the level of self-awareness and emotional intelligence that we need to get to. Speak it. It's uncomfortable for you. If everybody else knows that, then they're going to be okay with being uncomfortable as well. Why? Because they know they're not by themselves. Most of the time, people don't say anything or get defensive because they think that they're being attacked, like singly attacked. But if you start off the conversation with saying, hey, I'm uncomfortable with having this conversation, but I think it just needs to be had. So can we talk about X, Y, and Z? Because we can't keep letting this go on. It's only going to get worse. All right. So next week, I'm going to give you a few strategies for how you can not let the disagreement spiral, but I'm sorry, a few actions for how you can not let the disagreement spiral. But I would say the leaning into prayer, leaning into meditating before you have to have these conversations, or after you have had a conversation that you know you're going to have to revisit. Having scripture as a way to center yourself. Those are a few actions right there within using your faith as a tool for peaceful communication, because that goes right back to your values. Your values of, if you love someone, you're going to chastise them, you're going to let them know when something's wrong. You're going to have the tough conversations because you don't want to continuously be in discord with them. If they said something crazy, that forgiveness piece comes in. Being peaceful, that comes in that integrity piece. I'm going to have some integrity in this conversation because, I'm not just going to wild out, flip out, crash out because you did something or you said something. So let's think about these strategies in this coming week, because I'm going to come back next week with some actions, and we're going to delve a little bit deeper into these strategies. So let me recap really quickly for you. So our first strategy, we were talking about faith, and we're talking about how we can incorporate our faith into our co-parenting. Okay. So within our faith and our co-parenting, number one was to lead with the core values, not just rules for your co-parenting relationship. What do we value about how we want to raise our child or our children? What are our values going to be in education? What are our values going to be in behavior or discipline? What are our values going to be in religion or faith? What are our values? Okay. Number two is respecting the differences in beliefs and practices, because we know that even though some people may have the same religion or faith, that their interpretations of that religion or faith may differ. And we can respect those differences in their beliefs and their practices as long as it does not infringe upon the safety of everyone involved. And that means safety physically, safety mentally and safety emotionally. Spreading hate and division is not safe in any way, shape, or form for anybody. All right. Number three was using your faith as a tool for peaceful communication. So instead of letting the disagreements spiral, what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to lean into some prayer. We're going to try to lean into some meditation, if that is more appropriate for you, or some scripture as a way to center ourselves. If you have other ways to center yourself, which some people do, uh, some people chant, some people go work out. I mean, because sometimes, some days for me, throwing around some weight in the gym, that centers me. Okay. Being humbled by a rough workout, that centers me. I'm able to think much clearer because I just suffered through that workout. So think about things that center you instead of letting disagreements spiral. All right. So thank you for tuning in tonight. I want to say that next week we're going to go into some actions that you can take within these strategies to achieve these strategies that I just talked about. If you liked anything in this episode, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so that you know when the rest of my episodes come up. Next episode, guys, is episode 20. I cannot believe I am on episode 20 already. This time seems to have gone so fast. And then after episode 20, I'm going to continue to have more guests onto the show. But every now and then, you may just see me by myself. Hopefully, that is okay. Check the comments, check the description box for Common Sense Co-Parenting merchandise that I have now put up in the store. And also, please leave comments and let me know what you think about the episodes. The two previous episodes, Leanne and I offered an opportunity for someone to kind of hop on with us and talk about their co-parenting situation. If you'd like to volunteer for that, we would love to have you on the show and I'll bring her back. But you guys have a great weekend and go out there and co-parent with a purpose. I'll see you later. Bye.